Good evening and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Monday, June 25th, 2018. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Hey.
And so is Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say before we got into the show that we have had our first year anniversary last week. I don't know the exact date. It was around the 17th or 19th. But
longer than my marriage, bitch.
Do I get like cake or something or?
I mean, if you go to the store or to the kitchen and bake yourself one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have two cakes right here, boo.
By the way, just talking about baking quickly, I just want to ask Arthur, have you seen the show on Netflix called Cooking on High?
No.
It's like 15-minute episodes where people cook with cannabis, and they,
Right on.
It's okay. It's not super funny.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting. It's a lot of no-name people. I don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 15 minutes each. I watched a few of them last night as I was going to sleep. So you should watch it. It's kind of funny.
I did some edible today. I don't even know what the fuck it was. It was like the shit out of a syringe. And I did this shit maybe at like 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I am still fucking lit. Like, I am so fucking high right now.
Wow.
Like, this fucking marijuana has changed, right? Like, I mean, this is no longer that, like, hippie fucking Woodstock shit. Like,
yeah.
This stuff is, like, there's real
Strong.
fucking, yeah, it's nuts. Like, I should not be feeling this fucking high, like, 4.5 hours.
I went to Toronto Pride yesterday with my daughter and her friends, and my sister and some of her friends showed up, and I was offered edibles, but I was driving, so I could not partake. So.
Can I actually do a little bit of a conversation about Pride?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
I have, as a gay male, never been to Pride.
Yes, I remember your epic rant last year about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, and I get really annoyed, to all of my friends who are listening, I just want you to be aware of something. I'm not interested in attending Pride. I'm not interested in being next to the twinks and to the daddies that discriminated against me. Mm-hmm. I'm not willing to see a bunch of meshed titties walking around because guess what? I'm gay every day, and I don't need a fucking parade to remind me of how the government is still against me. Okay, bitch? Like, not interested. And a lot of people have me misconstrued with this because I got into a huge argument with a friend of mine about this. I said, I find it so hypocritical that for a day, the gays want to pretend that we have this united front going on when you've got most of the gays not wanting to cajole with this group of gays and that group of gays and this group of gays.
Or any of the actual, the L's don't like the B's and the B's don't like the T's and the T's don't like the G's.
We think that the B doesn't really exist because nobody could be bisexual, supposedly.
Yeah.
I find that in order for us to be effective, we have to actually be cohesive with each other. Or not cohesive, we have to coincide with each other. We have to live together. We have to coexist peacefully. I just don't, I've done my work outside of the gay stuff that I felt like has improved us. I've talked about the gay cause. I don't need a fucking parade to remind me of how gay I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so exhausting.
It's not compulsory, but people shouldn't be looked down on or, labeled poorly because they don't want to go to the Pride celebration.
If the whole celebration, parade, and all the festivities is about being who you are and being comfortable with who you are, how the fuck can you shame someone for, whom they are, being someone that doesn't care for Pride? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's so hypocritical.
It's ridiculous.
Because again, it's to me, and I'm not gay, so I can't really speak to it, I guess. But I mean, for me, it's always has been more of like a show. They're not there because they actually want to fight or make better or anything like that. It's a party. It's a show.
No, but
I can't even blame people for wanting to party. Partying's fucking dope.
And there's nothing wrong. Actually, don't say that word party in the gay community because that means a different thing. That means shooting up crystal meth.
Well, I will say in Toronto, there's still a lot of, I'll say, activism in it, in a sense that you had a lot of groups there, like, basically trying to take the stigma out of maybe HIV infections or the stigma out of gay men not being able to donate blood, those sort of things. But, it is a party. There's groups there that I don't think should be there. Sorry. F you, vegan gay people. I'm at Pride. I don't need to care if you don't want to eat meat. That has nothing to do with gay rights.
Yeah, but you dick up your ass. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
But it has nothing. Being vegan has nothing to do with gay rights. You're not discriminated because you're a gay vegan. You know?
I hate you because you're a vegan, though.
Yeah.
You know what's a really real cause? And I've spoken about this. I've discussed this with you guys in private. And I'll kind of finally start talking about it in public, I guess. The gay community has really been the first community, or the biggest community rather, that has made me feel very rejected. Because I'm not big enough to be a bear. I'm not skinny enough to be a twink. I'm not old enough to be a daddy. But I'm not, like, I am that weird gay weirdo that just doesn't fall into a category.
I hate to say the word ethnic, but you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of men that are ethnic that don't fall into those groups, those categories. And I think it is hard to be, I mean, I'm not a gay person, I don't know, but just from what I've read and seen, that it would be hard to be a gay person when there's these certain standards or expectations in the gay community.
I just don't understand, like, why you would invent new cliques. You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to make the rest of your life a fucking shitty American high school movie? Where you got the goths and the cowboys, and you know what I mean?
It's supposed to get better. It gets better. Right? But does it?
You're clicking up even more.
No, it can't get better when the community itself has this ideal of what you need to look like. Let's be frank, and please, guys, I hope you understand where this is coming from. When I did a little... Okay, so I'm going to open up about something here. I did quite a few researches for the Pride Month, actually, and I was very quiet about this and did not discuss this with you guys. I researched an LGBT book list, which, by the way, has grown exponentially from when I was young to what is now. The one huge common denominator, whether the author is Asian, black, white, is that the main character in the book happens to be white. Blue-eyed, blonde-haired, or brunette.
Yeah.
He happens to be white. How? Well, go ahead. No,
I was just going to say, I think you'll find that as a person of a minority, Ryan, you would know that there's not a lot of books about Asians either.
No, well, but at least Crazy Rich Asians had a little bit of representation.
People need to start writing these books and getting them published.
But how are you an Asian author and you're writing about how his soft, pale, white, milky skin caressed me? You're doing a disservice to the community that I feel like is already underrepresented. There is this, and I hate to come off a little bit like I'm saying I hate white people, but Ryan doesn't get to have representation because it seems that in the gay community, and this is very prevalent in the gay community, that attractive happens to be the skinny, lithe, white boy that looks like he's 17 years old. But seeing the Asian guy walking around, you happen to call him a rice queen.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. There's not a lot of,
not to poo-poo your feelings, because they're obviously true and they're valid. I mean, Arthur and I know there's not a lot of, either just gay characters in books or TV movies to begin with that aren't stereotypes, or there's not a lot of Asian people. But on the other side, there's not a lot of representation for myself out there either. There's not a lot of 45-year-old, 46-year-old fat women on TV that aren't the joke, right?
You pander to your audience, right?
Yeah.
And
people want to see pretty and beautiful.
Well, that's it, right? Any type of book or movie, TV, any of that, people want to see the extreme beautiful, the extreme pretty. Now, I can't say if you want to break it down racially or anything like that, because I think that's a moral of anybody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? To just be like, well, no, white's pretty, we know that, nothing but white. But at the same point in time, I mean, I always wonder how much we're just looking at this shit in the scope of our own lives being in North America. Now, if you're any type of literature or television or anything like that, unfortunately for minorities, whether it be racial or sexual, straight white is still the majority. You have to still have to pander to that audience because the audience, money's being made.
That's
because they are because they are the audience that really kind of buys, you know, the bulk of the thing.
That's the thing.
Can I ask this, Ryan? You might know. Maybe somebody's mentioned it. If you're in Philippines, you know, we have like Harlequin romances and all these little romance novels. Do they have ones like, you know, mainly starring Filipino people in there? I mean, I would assume if I went to Nigeria, they would have some love stories with just Nigerian people in it, right?
But here's the thing about the Philippines, and this is very, very weird. Actually, it's partly Asia. You are the idea of beauty in Asia is that you are light-skinned, with Western features, and it takes away from looking like what the natives are supposed to look like. Well, I'm more than blessed enough and fortunate enough to have a mixed race, you know, family. My father is Spanish and my mother is Filipino. And so I have height, I have open eyes, although I have, you know, bald head, but you know what I mean? But then I look at like some of my cousins who look like what Filipinos are probably supposed to look like if none of this ever happened. They would never have the representation, and that's in their own country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the same thing that's happening also in China. You look at stars like Fan Bingbing and Angelababy. They've probably had, allegedly, plastic surgery to look a little bit more Western.
It's like the Korean K-pop girls, right? No, they openly have surgery.
I was actually like told about this a little while ago. Now I don't know the validity of it. Like I couldn't really fact check it, but apparently that is, especially in Asian countries, is because the lighter skinned people are more representative of people with money, with wealth. They showed that they weren't in the fields working, right? So that's where that kind of unhealthy obsession with skin bleaching and shit like that. And then obviously like Western movies made it over, and that just kind of reaffirmed those beliefs of like see, like that, like the light skin, that's what's attractive.
Well, to the Asians, I'm not Asian enough. And to the whites, I'm not white enough. To the blacks, I'm not black. And to the Latinos, I'm not enough. So it's this weird kind of thing about being biracial. Isn't just being black and white, but being biracial, growing up biracial for me, having the last name that I have, having the features that I have, not really feeling like you belong. And so you have to somewhat become your own. And I feel like that creates, and I hate to kind of sound cocky on this, but it kind of creates a leadership kind of a thinking that I can be a pioneer for myself. I don't need, and it's taught me to be a little bit more independent in thinking, I don't need somebody to represent me, but God damn it, sometimes it would be nice to read about someone that maybe partly looks like me or can be described as me. Because it's frustrating. You know what I mean? It's frustrating all the time to have to prove yourself and every single time to say, hey, I'm valid too. You know what I mean?
Also, I get that, right? It would be hard to make yourself feel like you're worthy of being considered beautiful, right?
The fact is too, there's been a death of individualism. You know what I mean? You are now like, I would be considered a fucking weirdo when I was a kid, or you know, if I was a kid now, if I was the same person, because I chose to, you know, go a route of different than anybody else. But it seems like nowadays that's even worse. Like there is like, I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you have to be part of a group. You have to, no matter what, you have to fall into some fucking tiny, tight, clean category, or else you're some kind of fucking pariah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm so happy my kids went to an art school where they're kind of a lot of weirdos there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know they all have their cliques.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, my daughter's not trying to emulate Ariana Grande, or she's not trying to look like Kim Kardashian. Like, my daughter wears green lipstick and, you know, rainbow eyeshadow.
See, my point more so is it just seems like there's more, even like that, like you could be an eccentric kind of person, you know what I mean, or what we would kind of define as eccentric, but there's still kind of like this overwhelming kind of sense of conforming. So let's say that all, like, half the students there dye their hair green and have facial piercings, and you know, then you're still kind of forced into that, more so than I feel like when I was a kid. Like, I honestly do feel like when I was young growing up, and even, you know, watching my parents and seeing who they were when they were kids, you know, there was a real kind of, it was almost welcomed. You know what I mean? Like, you were almost pushed to be like an exception amongst the crowd.
I don't know. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, and we didn't have cliques like they have in American TV shows and stuff. But I mean, you were a rocker, you were a prep, you were a jock, you were a weirdo.
See, and I guess that
was really about it. You know, there was like, you know, or a nerd.
Well, but I guess in my generation and Arthur's generation, being, you know, we're close in age, it was like when I was in middle school. I'm sorry for stuttering. I have not had any sleep, but in middle school, I'll never forget, you were either the goth, or you were part of the popular crew, or you were just an outsider.
Yeah.
And being that I was this extrovert that kind of melded into anybody whom I was around, I was not a part of any of them.
Yeah.
I had this comment made by this girl named Jennifer saying, "You're so weird because you could just get along with everybody." And then later on, that was turned into, "You're so fake because you talk to everyone." And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I, you know what I mean? And it's built this Ryan who's just, now I guess that I'm older and I know a little bit better, it's made me a little bit more guarded towards people, where it's like, I will not allow you in because I will not have somebody call me fake.
If getting along with people makes you fake, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of fucking person are you?
Well, that's like only like the worst people in the world get mad that you talk to different groups. Like, shut up.
Right? Like, fuck, whatever.
Okay, so let's get on with our stories.
Sorry.
Very quick. It's okay. Very quickly, I just want to say, we're not going to go into it, but marijuana has been completely legalized in Canada, and the first day of legalization, October 17th, 2018. I guess a lot of people are calling in sick to work on October 18th. Okay, I want to talk. Now, we talked a bit about like looks and stuff, and this is another story. I didn't really send it out to you guys, but I just want to say this story bothers me every year. The World's Ugly Dog competition. This hurts me because these dogs don't have a choice to participate in this, and people are judging them on their looks that they can't control. They can't go to a plastic surgeon and get their tongue put in their mouths, and you know,
it's a fucking
dog. No, I feel bad. People are being dog is ugly. They're all good.
The best day of that dog's life.
Good girls.
It's in a fucking stadium full of people doing nothing but paying attention to it. Like, that dog is not hurting. That dog loves its fucking life.
They're calling it ugly, and I don't think that's nice.
Poor puppers.
Yes, poor puppers, exactly.
Callie, you're ugly as shit.
Oh my god.
Like, fuck off. That's the best part about having an animal, is you can talk all the fucking unabashed shit you want, and they don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I will say, you guys have seen pictures of my used to dog, and he didn't need to look both ways to cross the street, if you know what I mean. He was the dumbest thing in the world. He would lick the floor for hours.
Yeah.
We had to wipe his butt after.
It's not the dumbest dog competition. It's the ugliest dog, and I feel bad. And this poor little baby Jaja is beautiful, and she's beautiful on the inside and out.
Yeah, I'm sure that dog really is really hurting right now. Yeah. It's a fucking dog.
I feel bad for the dog. It's not ugly.
But you would, because you're attaching human emotions to it. Don't attach human emotions to animals, because they're fucking animals. Like,
it doesn't matter. I know it doesn't know that it's being made fun of, but that doesn't mean if someone was mentally retarded and didn't know any better, and people put them in the ugliest person competition, but it didn't know any better because it wasn't, aware of any human feelings.
I mean,
would that be okay?
Well, for one, we're not supposed to use the word retarded.
Yeah.
And two, like, I mean, if they're unaware and we're at a point in fucking civilization where we're ridiculing humans like that again, then fuck, whatever. I mean, I honestly, I don't see any harm in it. It's just, it's a dog.
It makes me sad for them.
But that's it.
Anyway.
Like, people attach so much human feelings to inanimate objects. There's something they did on that show Community, where he named a pen and then broke the pen, and they're like,
oh, yeah.
And it's so fucking true, right? Like, you sit there and you can only imagine that dog feeling how you would feel if you were being prayed around being called ugly. And it hurts. Of course it's going to fucking hurt. What? It's a dog. It's a fucking dog. Like, the dog
babies.
Don't care. The dog is loving its life. There's literally 100 people doing nothing but applauding and cheering for him and giving him treats.
Well, I just hope he got lots of good treats yesterday.
Yeah, the dog loved his fucking life.
Okay, so let's talk about now. This we talk about, and Arthur and I really hate the kind of homeopathic world.
Oh fuck yeah.
So here's a guy who got smart and kind of scammed a bunch of dumb people. This guy's from Vancouver. He boiled up 100 organic beef hot dogs, and he put that hot dog water and a hot dog into a bottle and sold it for $40 each, and people bought it.
Oh my God, that's so disgusting. The smell of boiling hot dogs literally smells like unwashed ass. I cannot. Oh my God, it's disgusting. Why would anybody buy that for $40?
Because it was keto diet friendly.
Yeah, and he told them how they were going to have all these healing health benefits. Like, that's salt water. That's not good for your body. What the frick?
It's all sodium.
It's like I said the last time we were kind of went off on the homeopathic thing. It's all because people have this urge to feel smarter than people that are actually smart. You know what I mean? Like, they all want to feel like they know some secret fucking
better
information.
Than people who just trust doctors.
Exactly. You trust a doctor? Well, did you go to medical school? Shut the fuck up.
I researched on Google.
You know what I mean? Like, and people, like, seriously, it's a fucking problem. But that, to me, is what it is they just have this innate urge to be fucking smarter than medical professionals.
I actually have a funny story to tell you guys about that today. One of my coworkers is not feeling well at all. I hope she feels better. And my other coworker, I can't mention names. My other coworker made a comment and said, we'll call her Lily. Lily made a comment and said, you know what will help you? Bananas. And I swear I did the Exorcist head turn, looked at her and said, are you a doctor? Because magically I'll eat a fucking banana and it will cure somebody's fucking cold. And
cold? Yeah, no.
And I was fucking labeled to be a bitch when I said this. I was like, no, I'm not being a bitch. That's not proven to be true. A banana's not going to fix your cold.
Oh, I had a lady at work tell me that if I peppers and soursop and yellow yam, that would get rid of my high blood pressure and my diabetes.
Bitch, goodbye.
Yeah. No.
I mean, obviously eating healthy will help any of the problems I have, but that, there's a lot more problems
helps that too.
But it's so crazy is I had another person say to me, I had a sty in my eye, and he told me to take, you have a garlic bulb, and they have the little point on it. He said, poke it with the point of a garlic bulb, and that will heal you. And I'm like,
what?
No, I'll just use like a hot press and let it pop itself. Okay, thanks.
Like, there's some validity to some of these homeopathic remedies. I won't call it medicine, but there is some validity to it. Because, of course, I mean, modern medicine isn't called modern medicine for no fucking reason. Like, it is, But, I mean, how many people were dying of, like, the cold and dysentery and shit? Back when these, you're quoting these fucking weird, eat a banana and it'll cure your fucking gout. Like, what? Like, what? No, fuck you.
Yeah, like willow bark tea, if you have a headache, will help you with pain, right?
That's one of the stupidest things.
That for years, but like that doesn't mean that is better than if you have cancer pain, it's better than morphine.
Yeah.
Well, one of the stupidest things I've ever seen was somebody had a wart and they put a banana peel on it and they thought it was going to disappear. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you look so dumb right now. Girl, I'm Filipino. I've seen stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. Medicine is there to protect us. It's the same thing that goes for anti-vaxxers. It's like, stop with your bullshit. Stop with your crap. Shut the fuck up and let science do what science does.
I have a medical advice my dad gave me. Now, this is nothing to do with like an old wives homeopathic medicine. The first time I got strep throat, I'm like, oh, Dad, I think I have strep throat. There's like all this pus in the back of my throat. He's like, just eat some hickory sticks, but don't chew them up and let them scratch the back of your throat and all the pus will come out. Yeah. I'm like, I'll just go to the doctor, Dad. Like, we have free healthcare. Yeah. I'll just go to the doctor. I'm not living in some place where there's no
healthcare. You have free healthcare, bitch.
But that's the sort of thing my dad would have said, like, oh my gosh. I'm sure this guy, this Douglas Bevins, by the way, he's going places. I'm sure he'll be speaking at the homeopathic, convention in a couple of weeks.
Hopefully.
There's a convention for that?
Of course.
Well, a guy who killed his kid, letting his kid who had meningitis, he fed him lemon and fucking garlic oil or something.
If there's one thing that hippies are good at, it's congregating. You know what I mean? Like, it's the only thing they've ever been fucking good at is getting into groups.
But that's the opposite. Like, you know how we always talk about what we think of, like, maybe the super conservatives.
Yeah.
That's the opposite, and this is what you think when you think about the super liberals, like these unshaven women with like armpit hair all the way down to the floor, smelling like patchouli oil.
Oh fuck yeah!
Fucking liberals. Like, I mean,
I kind of like the smell of patchouli.
Oh god.
You literally just described exactly what goes through my head when I'm talking shit with liberals. Like, I'm not even fucking with you. Like, that's exactly what I imagine every single time.
By the way, at Pride yesterday, I shook the hands of what's her name, Theresa May, and what's the other one? I hated her, but I still shook her hand. Andrew Horvath.
Theresa May was there?
No, she means Elizabeth May.
Elizabeth May, that's her name. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, holy shit! Like,
that'd be amazing if I shook Theresa May's hand. Yes.
A little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about this next story because I think it's kind of a really funny story, actually. So there was a Chinese restaurant. It wasn't doing well. It opened just in January of last year, or December of last year. And they came up with an idea. They thought, we'll get tons of customers in here. They decided to introduce an all-you-can-eat offer. But basically, for about $18 US a month, you could eat unlimited times there. Huh. So not just unlimited one time. Like, I go to a Mandarin buffet, and I pay $30 to eat unlimited for, 1 hour and 45 minutes. So this is $18 for the whole month. Well, they literally went out of business. Well, they had to shut down the business. They're not quite out of business yet. People were lining up every day as early as 8 a.m.
Of course.
Before the place even opened. They were sharing the card instead of somehow keeping it to just one person. They were sharing out their cards to their friends and family. And within, hold on, let me see. I want to see where it says. Apparently, they had $76,000 in debt. Within, I want to say, I don't know how long. From June 1st. So only from June 1st, they had $76,000 in debt.
Well, newsflash for these idiots. Humans are scum, and we'll fuck you over at every opportunity we get.
Oh, yeah.
And you allowed these people to fuck you over. Like, he served that up on a platter, like, pun intended.
Dumb. Why would you give that for a month? Like, you, do that, like, 200 all you can eat for a month type of thing. Like, Jesus Christ, not $18.
Like, I understand if, like, the first 50 people that signed up, maybe it's like that. But not, oh my, people are greedy. Okay,
they are.
Number one, people are very fucking greedy. If you told me there was an all-you-can-eat, like...
all month long?
Oh, God. I would be 800 pounds going...
And this would, and, like, this isn't, like, people can't just say, oh, only in China. No, this would happen anywhere. This would happen
absolutely anywhere. You put that in the fucking States, Canada, fucking the UK, like, people are they're gonna scam it. That's what we're good at. That's what we do best.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same point in time, being in China... You know what I mean? The fucking most populated place on earth.
Yeah.
What a fucking dumb fuck move.
Yeah.
Like, come on. What the fuck were you thinking? Like, like, there is an absolute possibility that 100,000 fucking people could show up.
Line up at your door and then tear it apart when you close the door on them.
Like, I know that sounds fucking ignorant, but it's the goddamn truth. Like, literally 100,000 fucking people could show up to this. And what are you going to do? Like,
that's a small town in China.
Yeah, like, fuck's sakes.
No, that's a good point. I never thought about it that way. Because, like, New York City is, I think, our population, New York City, the 5 boroughs, is 12 million or 13 million.
I was thinking 12, but I wasn't sure.
And you do that in New York? Oh, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a day, you'll go, because just me and my family alone, oh, fuck it, you'll be out of business.
Exactly. You'll be like, I ate lunch. Here you go, Dad. You're going for mid-lunch. Mom's going for,
Oh, yeah, that was a dumb idea. Great way. I guess a smart way to get people talking about your restaurant, but it's too bad you went bankrupt, you fucking idiots.
So they're what they said they're going to do, because now they had to close, obviously. Yeah. Because people ignored the non-transferable membership rules. They're going to, and people, this is the other thing. people also brought bags to pack food away.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep.
You know, so what they've done is when they're reopening, they're going to give a discount to the people that bought the membership cards, but they're not going to get the free anymore.
No, they can't honor that. They can't keep that going. That's a piss poor business plan. Like, I'm sorry, no one's ever made any money running a business where you're essentially giving everything away for fucking free.
Giving everything, yeah, and you are giving everything away for free.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and even one of, I guess it's their version of Yelp. Somebody reviewed it and said, all you can eat for 30 days for just 120 yuan. That's 4 yuan per hot, I can't even say that word, hot pot meal. It'd be a mystery if it didn't shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, that's crazy.
It did.
Oh, I mean, it just goes to show you, harebrained screams are not the way to go when you're trying to, you know, have a company. Because again, we're human and we're scum, and we will fuck you over at every fucking chance we get.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
I remember Scott and I went to the Mandarin. This is way back when we were still just dating. And we went to the Mandarin, and we were sitting in there, and we were just in like one of the small rooms, and there was only another, like, I guess a mom and a daughter in there with us. And they had Tupperware, and they were putting stuff in their Tupperware, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, and I came from the ghettoest family where, you know, my parents stole the silverware. Yeah. You know what I mean? From restaurants. So, yeah, like they would literally take the steak knives. Yeah. So I was like just dumbfounded. And I remember that the man came in, one of the waiters came in, he's like, oh, you guys are so hungry. You eat so much. And I'm thinking, there's cameras in here. They're seeing you steal this food.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt guilty by like just being in the room with them, and I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least you knew not to snitch.
Yeah, oh, I definitely didn't snitch. Come on, I grew up in Mornell.
Yeah. But I'm actually surprised I don't see that more often when I go out to buffets. People filling up bags and stuff. I've never seen that in my life. I'm kind of glad I haven't, because I mean, not like I'd rat on them, but I definitely kind of, you know, I would make jokes at their expense about it.
I wanted to take a cotton candy when I was leaving, and I thought, no, you have to eat it at the buffet. I couldn't even do that. I was like, cotton candy. I'm like such a rule follower. Like, I really am. I don't break the rules. So, like, you know, that was shocking to me.
If it was the end of the fucking world, and I said to you, Jacqueline, I want to have a Birkin, we're going inside the Hermes store, and we're robbing that shit.
Oh, I wouldn't loot for a Birkin. What? I would loot for food and weapons. Come on.
What the? You're going to need a bag to carry your weapons in.
It doesn't have to be a half a $1 million bag to carry my stuff in.
Money's not going to matter anymore. You might as well just freaking take advantage.
And it doesn't matter to have a Hermes then either. Is your Hermes going to protect you from the zombies?
No, but he'll look good while they're fucking chewing his ass up.
Okay, well, I guess he'll like that.
Okay.
So let's. I'm gonna say, like, I'm one Toronto Maple Leaf Stanley Cup win away from fucking rioting and looting. Like,
oh my gosh, I don't think you would loot.
No, probably not loot, but I will definitely burn someone's car. I don't give a fuck.
Would you?
I'm not even lying. Like, I'm not even fucking around. Ever since I seen my first like riot, I have wanted to participate in a full blown fucking riot. It does look like not fun per se, but just real animalistic and you know, it just seems like a real life changing experience, and I think it'd be cool. But I wouldn't do it here. Fuck that. I'm not burning my own shit down. Like, I'll burn down some town in Quebec. I don't give a fuck about Quebec.
That's nice. Yeah. Okay. So there's a story coming out of Australia. This woman named Ayla Cresswell, her boyfriend died. I don't know how he died, but he passed away. And I don't even know. I guess she would have had to have done it really quickly, because she got an injunction or a court order, whatever you call it, and they got his sperm removed from his body. And since 2016, she's been trying to get custody of the sperm so that she could get pregnant by it and have a baby. His father helped in getting the sperm from his body. I don't know how. I don't want to know. But yeah, she won in the courts, and now she's going to be able to have a baby by this guy.
Is someone's job to jerk off corpses? Is that what I'm getting
would
from
you
this?
Have to jerk it off, or could you go in through the vas deferens and find the semen in there? I don't know.
I mean, it'd definitely be easier to just jerk them off.
Can you jerk off a corpse?
I don't know. I mean, what the fuck? I
mean, sure, it'd be easier, but I mean, that could be like hours. You might have to like, you know, switch arms and shit.
I mean, I don't have any beef with this though, in all honesty.
But who's to say he wanted to have a kid?
Doesn't matter now because he's not there to take care of it. You know what I mean? Like, this is honestly.
What if he was against children? Like, what if it's somebody like you, Arthur, who never wants kids?
I'm dead. And what the fuck? What
you
the
don't
fuck
care
do
that somebody went against you when it has nothing to do with money wise. You're okay with somebody taking your semen and making a kid?
No, not one fucking bit. Look, if you want to take my sperm right now and have a kid, fucking more power to you. I'm just not taking care of it. Flat out. That's what I mean when I say I don't want kids. I'm not taking care of a fucking child. Now, in this scenario, yeah, by all means, do it, because I definitely...
Don't let your mother hear that. She'll be, like, trying to get a surrogate.
Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like, she wants to take care of it, fucking have at it. Like, more power to you. I'm not going to acknowledge its fucking existence, in all honesty. But, like, no, I see no beef with this at all, especially if his family was cool with it. I think that's actually, I think that's really sweet.
She's sufficiently affluent to take care of her children. I think about these stories a lot, and I think it would break my heart if my children died, especially before me, and there was nothing left of them.
Yeah.
You know, and I could definitely see why a parent would want to go about this, you know?
I think it's kind of sweet.
I don't personally have a problem either. I think it's nice.
Yeah, I really do. And I mean, that's a hard one for me to say. Like, I never say something sweet, but like, I really do. Like, I think that's actually really sweet of them to be like, no, we not only want to remember our son, you want to remember him as well. You know, I think this is a really good way of going about it.
Yeah.
I truly do. I mean, it's nice, but I mean, at the same point in time, I can understand people. I mean, maybe later on there might be contracts you have to sign stating that, no, you can't. You know, you can't make a baby with my fucking DNA or what have you after my passing.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that becoming something.
Yeah, I think people will, if you're really for that, you'd have to put that in there. And then you have to be careful too. Like, she doesn't go after his family now and be like, well, I want some of your money.
Oh, see, yeah, that's the whole thing with me though, is in this type of a scenario, if you're the one deciding that you want a dead person's child, then that's all on you. There's no hitting the family up.
Well, the dad helped her, so.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's obviously it's not something I've ever heard of, so I don't know, you know, what the precedent for this would be. But personally, I think, like, again, I do like this. I think this is a cool idea, but at the same point in time, by you engaging in that, you're accepting all, like, 100% responsibility. There's no hitting up people for money or anything like that, unless, you know, there's a relationship there between you guys where you can do it, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I'm saying just the run-of-the-mill, whatever, you know, atypical fucking messy kind of child support type people.
I feel like I've heard other stories in the past where moms have done this, like try to get their son's sperm. I can't remember. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it with a woman because, you know, until the egg comes to fertility, there's no way you can harvest an egg. But interesting. I guess if you took the DNA now, you could do one of those 3-baby.
Yeah, right. Because I know there are ways we can create life without, you know, just a sperm and an egg. But I mean, there definitely is going to have to be a conversation at like a legislative, you know, level. To figure this out, because I imagine if
people have to put them in their wills now and be like, you know, I don't want any of my DNA or my sperm or my eggs harvested to, you know, create new life in the future.
Which I think is fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I could see a lot of people trying for this. You know what I mean? Like, love your life, but you never had the opportunity, you know, tragically dies in a car accident or some shit. But now you have the opportunity to keep a part of that person your entire life, like an actual part, you know? Yeah, I could see no harm coming from that, as long as, you know, we handle all the messy legal side of it first before we start just allowing this.
Well, and it's one thing if you're the spouse, but I mean, now we're just talking about a girlfriend, so that definitely becomes a little more legalese. Right?
Exactly, right? Like, spousal rights, as far as I'm concerned, should trump most shit. You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna know you and your wants out of life more than your fucking spouse is going to. Especially, I mean, you know, people date fucking crazy all the time, so you gotta watch out for that shit as well.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm be watching to see if she, you know, hopefully she's I can't say the word. Say it, Arthur. Successful in getting an implantation and a viable embryo that, you know, lives for her.
That's cool. It's a cool fucking thing.
Now here's I don't know. I'll just say the story. I won't give an opinion yet. So there is a woman who was having, her name is Nicole Ortega, She lives in Arizona. She's 9 weeks pregnant, and her doctor delivered the sad news that there was no longer a heartbeat for her baby.
That's too bad.
So she was offered 3 options. They said that she could get like a surgery, like a DNC to scoop it out. You could wait for nature to take its course and push the baby out, or she could take a prescription medication that would help her, go into like the uterus would have the contractions and push the baby out naturally. Okay, with the drug. So she decided to take the medicine. The medicine's called misoprostol. Why do I say these words? Anyway, so she went to get the medicine. She went to a Walgreens, and she got the email on Wednesday evening, said her prescription was ready to pick up.
Yeah.
And when she went to pick it up, the pharmacist told her on duty, the pharmacist on Thursday night told her he refused to give her the drug based on his religious beliefs.
Yeah, you can't do that.
There we go.
You can't do that. No, I'm sorry. No, this is...
But that's the thing. Walgreens says he can. But what should have happened was another pharmacist or somebody else in there could have just handed her the prescription.
This is medicine. This is doctor prescribed. This has nothing to do with your fucking beliefs in fucking a fairy tale world. I'm sorry, it doesn't. You have no right. This is not a personal owned fucking bakery. And I said
this happened in front of strangers and her 7-year-old child, and she was obviously horrified and embarrassed.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool at all.
This isn't just like, I need the morning after pill because I boned somebody last night and I don't know who the
My thing is with this, and I've said it before, if it's a privately owned business, like if I own that business and I'm some fucking, I'm that devout in my religion.
Arthur's Pharmacy.
You know what I mean? Not see a pharmacy, no, because I'm operating at the behest of fucking doctors, medical professionals. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, at that point in time, if
you're a scientist, which is a pharmacist, is a scientist.
Yeah. That's so immoral. That's so wrong.
There's a difference when it comes to medical stuff. I think we all kind of discussed this. I actually had a discussion with my friend about this last night because, shockingly enough, I agree with the Supreme Court's ruling for the baker. I really do. I agree with the ruling for the baker. I agree because it's not like the baker. It's not like the ruling said. It's not like the baker said, I will not serve you. I will serve you, I just can't sell you a cake. But it's very different when we start to talk about medicine.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the safety of the public. Yeah. She's not getting an abortion just to get an abortion. The fetus is dead.
Yeah.
And she
imagine if she's in a really small, isolated town where the next pharmacist that might sell that to her could be 3, 4, 5 hours away.
Yeah.
Privately owned businesses have every fucking right to refuse service to anybody for whatever fucking reason they can dream up. I will never change my mind on that. But if you are operating on the behest of doctor's orders, if your entire fucking business, your entire job revolves around this doctor saying, no, I want this medicine administered to this fucking person, you shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. At this point in time, your religion is meaningless.
Janet, your freaking pharmacist assistant to hand it over. Shut up.
Right?
But to do that publicly in front of customers, to say that to her on ethical reasons, I cannot give this to you.
No, that's disgusting. That's really disgusting.
Snatched it from his hand.
It's just wrong. It's just fucking wrong.
And to tell them that it was ready, to tell her it was ready.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they call her and say, bring it to another place because we're not going to fill it?
Right.
Have her come in?
So
come on.
Ignorant.
Let me read the statement from Walgreens so we can, because I think they're lying too. After learning what happened, we reached out to the patient and apologized for how the situation was handled. To respect and the sincerely held beliefs of our pharmacists while at the same time meeting the needs of our patients, our policy allows pharmacists to step away from filling a prescription for which they have a moral objection. At the same time, they're also required to refer the prescription to another pharmacist or manager on duty to meet the patient's needs in a timely manner. We are looking into the matter to ensure that our patients' needs were handled properly. Now, they didn't contact her. She contacted them, and she said there was 2 other people in the pharmacy working at the same time, and they did not volunteer to help her.
Huh. Yeah, not cool. Not fucking cool.
She should sue them. And I'm not the kind of person that says
no, me neither.
Sue them.
Yeah. No, hit them in the fucking wallet where it hurts. The only place that fucking matters the corporations and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting. That's so fucking disgusting. And like it always fucking blows my mind that most of these people that take these types of stances, saying no, I can't serve you based on my religious morality, is taking what they claim to be the fucking high road, but they end up being complete fucking scumbags and doing something completely fucking, you know, inhuman.
What's stopping doctors and nurses and public officials from all of a sudden saying to the gay community, I cannot help you because I don't believe in your livelihood? Or what's stopping me in my job saying to a person, I can't help you because I don't like the fact that you're a bigot?
Yeah.
Well, look what just happened with Sarah Sanders.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is, Huckabee Sanders. Yeah. You know, she got declined at the restaurant, and now everybody's saying how the restaurant's full of bigots, but, you know, management reserves the right.
The same people were the ones applauding the bakery for not fucking, you know, going off on their morals. And, you know, that's the funny thing about this whole fucking thing, or this political fucking, you know, grandstanding that's happening. Is like, I'm tired of hearing people fucking be for something in 1 second, and the second that they face the tiniest fucking bit of the exact same scenario, oh my god, this is an affront to all humanity. Well, no, it's not. If it was a privately owned business, like if it was my restaurant and she came in, I'd be like, hey bitch, get the fuck out, I ain't serving you. Like, I'm going to piss in your food.
Anybody who works for Trump, I ain't eating out in public because I wouldn't trust anything that people were serving me. This Christian Nielsen going to a Mexican restaurant?
That shit's just
effing crazy.
That's fucking hilarious. Like, that's such a troll. Like, I'm firmly against Mexicans being in America. Ooh, enchiladas. Like,
yeah, like who doesn't love a good taco, right? Jesus, but I can't believe the insane hypocrisy.
You know? It's just. Again, how the fuck can there be a war on Christians if Christians are the ones being fucking cocksuckers right now?
Yeah.
You know, I keep seeing this. Oh, there's a war on Christianity. There's a war on Christianity. Well, you guys are acting like fucking complete fuckwads. Like, of course no one wants to fucking do business or talk or fucking anything with you because you keep showing time and time again that the level of evangelicalism that you guys are showcasing is just completely fucking, like, abhorrent, and none of us want to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like,
and I feel like a lot of the people doing it, I'm not going to say all of them because I don't know them, aren't even really that religious. I think they just don't like gay people or brown people.
It's such a good front. Like, it's so, as disgusting as this is to say, claiming religious fucking rights is the easiest way to be a fucking bigot.
Because the minute I say something bad about it, you're hate speech against my religion.
Right. It's brilliant in all honesty. Like, it really is. It's fucking.
That's what the Scientologists do now.
Yeah. Like, as far as the oppression Olympics go, I mean, they've really fucking hit it on the head with their tactics. Like, seriously, it's disgusting.
And then, I guess we should talk about the jacket. I mean, so we all know Melania Trump went to visit the migrant children camp, detaining camps, and now she didn't see the children wearing the jacket, but she boarded the plane wearing a jacket that said, "I don't really care to you."
I mean, but can we prove that this bitch can read? Like, in all honesty,
she supposedly has degrees, and she speaks 5 languages, and she's college educated, apparently.
Yeah, but I mean, I just want to see this bitch read a fucking book before
she
I pass
read Michelle Obama's speech at the convention. Pretty good.
Yeah, but you can't tell me that there's not the possibility they had a fucking earpiece in her ear coaching her along. Like, just give me some proof that this bitch is literate before I judge her for wearing
I mean, when I found out that the jacket came from Zara, I knew then that, like, she doesn't shop there. She's a Trump.
Yeah.
Come on. She shops at, like,
places we've never heard of.
Yeah, Madison Avenue. Is that where people shop, Ryan? I have no idea. Yeah, she's not shopping at, like, Zara.
I hate to say this, and I try not to criticize the first ladies.
Yeah.
Because they're trying not to be in a political role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was just so tasteless and so rude.
Nobody in her camp said maybe you should rethink that jacket.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just going on the fact that the kids in the camp can't fucking read English, and they're like, whatever.
I guess.
But you know what, though? A lot of the stuff that has been going on with this, I've been so passionate about this whole thing with immigrants going on lately. A lot of the comments that I've heard, a lot of the things that have been said, a lot of the things that I've seen are just really disheartening. I think we've lost our humanity. People are just so rude
A
now.
lot of the comments we're hearing about how it doesn't matter because they're not American kids.
Yeah. I'm so happy that girl that works for the DOT in Ohio got suspended. Fuck yeah, lose your fucking job. Hold yourself accountable for what you fucking say.
Oh, yeah.
This Rachel Campos, whatever her name is, how she said the detainee camps were better than most of the housing projects in America.
I mean, in all honesty, from what I've seen, she's not wrong because they do look
but
clean.
You're not held in a cage in your housing project.
I mean, not one that is kind of visible to the fucking naked eye, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, ghettos and projects are built to keep people in. You know what I mean? Like they are kind of, but no, the shit that's going on there is absolutely you can't fucking compare that. Like you can't make light of literal concentration camps. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have one of the most effective things I have heard came from Arthur, and this was off the air conversation that went on for way after the show, and it was when you said when we did it to the Japanese it wasn't okay. What makes this okay?
Yeah, right. Like that's the thing.
It's like, so effective because it's the truth. What made it okay?
Like exactly, like there's not a single American that I've ever talked to that looks back at the Japanese internment camps with fucking fondness. You know what I mean? Like
Laura Bush and or pride. You know, that was a stain on our. You remember Laura Bush had said that in her op-ed piece. I mean, come on, people! Holy fucking shit! When are we gonna say to ourselves? Enough is enough with the crap. My God.
And the lies. This is what's really insulting too, is that he came out and said like so many lies in the space of 3 days. Nobody can fix it. It's all the Democrats' fault. It's laws from before, blah, blah, blah. I can't do an executive order. And then he signs an executive order, but it's not even going to really help a lot of the kids that are already in these
that are already in, call them what they are, the camps. This is what we did, or this is what the Nazis did to the Jewish kids. This is what we did.
Actually, the Nazis were a little bit better because they allowed the fucking kids to live with their parents in the fucking ghettos before they, you know what I mean?
Yeah, before they gassed them. Yeah, right? They were all together at first.
But you know, that to me, that's the most disgusting part is people seem to be okay with it.
The story that really resonated with me, guys, is the two kids. Of course, the kids are not named because they are underage.
Yeah.
The two kids that have a father who's actually an American permanent resident, aka a green card holder. They were, what do you call that? ICE was livid finding this out because they had to allow these kids passage.
Yeah.
And when they found out, and when the father found out that they were being held at these detention camps, he was livid. I mean, what the fuck? We're doing this to kids. They are okay. Just to kind of give a little bit of people a little bit of brush on lesson with immigration here. When your parent becomes a permanent resident, a green card holder, and you are under the age of 18, automatically you are going to be a beneficiary to that. These kids were technically going to be that. All he had to do was apply them. It's probably a quick deal. What upsets me so much about a lot of Americans is, and I am going to detach you guys from this a little bit, okay, because you are Canadians, and I hope that's not offensive. But the problem that I have with a lot of Americans is that they are so underinformed, uneducated when it comes to immigration.
Yep.
Well, because if you don't go through it, you don't know, right?
Well, exactly.
But that's the thing, is that you can't live a life that's ignorant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I also said something that's quite controversial last night to a friend that thought it was a little bit offensive, but it's kind of the truth for me. We can't take Alabama ideals and think that that person from Alabama is going to have an idea of how global politics is going to functions. Because when you live in a podunk town and all you ever seem to think about is your next door neighbor, Mr. Smith, you're not living in the real world like the rest of us do. When we have to think about global politics, when we have to think about our allies and how this is going to affect me and how it's going to affect you and everybody else, that's politics. So I get very, very tired of Meghan McCain constantly saying on The View, oh, but that, you know, we're not sympathizing with the Trump voters. Which ones? The ones in deep South fucking North Carolina that are wearing their Ku Klux Klan fucking gowns? Which ones are you calling that we're not sympathizing with? You know, it's exhausting. It's an exhausting conversation to have because people don't seem to get it. And this is the thing that I love discussing with you guys. And the whole point of this podcast is that we have to be real. Yes, it's offensive to say that. And I apologize if I've offended Alabamans, you know, and me saying that you guys are not informed in politics. It's not necessarily true. But we cannot talk about your small town ideals and compare that to the world. Most people in Europe are informed about their neighbors.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a little devil's advocate here, I guess, but it's hard to compare European politics, like with them knowing what's going on in Europe compared to Canada or the US, because look at the fucking size of our country. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard for us to, but it's actually really not even that fucking hard. Like, it's really not that hard to stay informed. Just
you guys are
make an attempt.
You guys know at least the gist of what's going on in the United States. Come on.
I know more about what's going on down there than a lot of fucking Americans I have interaction with.
That's what I was going to say. Well, I mean, I was trying to be as fair as possible here. We have to be a little bit like editing now. We have to edit now. We have to be frank. Liberals have to start being a little bit more frank with their rhetoric. This is why you keep losing. And this is why people who are rhinos like myself, I'm finally going to reveal that, I guess, on air, are losing their goddamn minds, because we're losing the essence of what is real politics. We keep on praising these moronic ideals that just don't seem to apply to everyday life. You can't tell me that we can't worry about Justin Trudeau and China and Angela Merkel. We have to. Those are our allies.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
the moment you lose that, what do you have left? You can't govern just yourself. Trust me, you'll lose the game.
Yeah. Well, we saw what happened to a country alone in the world, North Korea.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, there it is, right? Well, not even, because North Korea still has fucking resources. But the thing that I don't think a lot of Trump supporters understand is that he is fucking selling your entire country short.
Yeah.
You cannot ever become a manufacturing powerhouse again. No. You just don't have the resources.
Because they're not willing to go back and work for $3 a day.
That they don't have the resources. They still have to obtain all the fucking gold, all the silica, all that shit from trade. Yeah. He is fucking
part
everything.
Of the issue that we're having right now is that no one's talking about immigration in the way we need to talk about immigration. You want to kick out all the immigrants? Guess what? Your groceries, an avocado is going to cost you $20 fucking bucks.
Well, I was just reading a story the other day that because of some of these harsher immigration laws that have already been implemented, there are fucking like huge swaths of tomato fields that have now went rotten. Because white people don't want to pick the fucking food.
Yeah,
well, there was this beautiful show. This was a couple of years back, or maybe even a little bit more than a couple of years, where this guy, a real TV show, I forget the name of it, he went to upstate New York. We're not talking podunk town. We're talking upstate New York in the pasturing fields, you know, where they milk the cows and where the milk comes from. And how he went to the unemployment office outside and started offering people, there's these farms that are willing to hire and pay you. No. Out of 80 that he asked, 2 people said yes and said, where do I sign up? Yep. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
People don't want to do manual labor like that. They don't want to do back-breaking labor, and they don't want. If they're going to do it, they're not going to do it for $7 an hour. They want like $30 an hour.
Part of the issue that we're having is that no one's talking about this. I'm sorry that I'm coming off as an angry liberal here. No, my armpits are shaved, but my God,
but his pussy's not.
But, well, yes, that's lasered. But we have to be a little bit realistic here with the conversation that we're having now. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Illegal immigration is bad. I agree with you 110 fucking %. But let me tell you, the ones that are already here If you get rid of them, you will have the houses that you build in 3 months will take you 2 years to fucking build, and it's going to cost you $1 million. And guess what? Those prices are going to be $100 million when you buy those fucking houses, and you can no longer afford the littlest things that you take for granted. Now we have to have these conversations. We have to be real, especially in a town like New York City. It's scary. It is so scary that no one seems to mention this. All we ever seem to do, the liberals, all you ever seem to want to do is talk about how, oh my God, poor kids, poor this. Holy shit, it's not effective. You have to talk about how it's going to affect the bottom line, money, how it's going to affect your bank account.
That's the only way to get the actual change makers' attention, right? As unfortunate as it is, and how much I do believe in our political power and whatever, like the system, I do believe in it. I mean, in all honesty, you can't make a change with your vote. You have to make a change by hurting people's fucking pocketbooks. It's just the nasty truth of the world, It's all about the bottom line and making money.
Yeah,
if we can make money being assholes, I mean, fucking.
So that's what it's gonna have to be. I feel like people just haven't. You don't want to live in that kind of place because I came from that place. I came from the Philippines where you could not go to a grocery store unless you had a membership, and you probably had to spend somewhere close to $500 to walk away with decent amounts of food.
Jesus.
If you want to get to that point. America, then I guess keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I mean, super inflation is a fucking thing, Yeah. I mean, look at Venezuela, even look at China. I'm actually kind of worried about that, about things not turning out as fiscally as well as certain people are planning on, and they start just inflating the price of the American dollar.
Which is kind of
an article in New York Times. Now, I'm not a financial person or an economist. I didn't understand a lot of it, but there's a group that predicts when things are going wrong, and they're usually right. And they said that they are predicting a recession in America shortly. Yeah.
They said, I think by 2020, we might be back in a recession.
Yeah.
Mars said it the other day, right? Like, a recession is a survivable event, and it is.
Yeah.
Like, if all our money goes to shit, I mean, technically we'll all still survive. But I mean, the things that are happening right now under this fool's administration, some of them are not survivable for us all.
Yeah.
And
look up Mars' new rules from Friday night, because people were mad at him for saying he hopes there's a recession, but he explains why, and
it makes sense. Like,
$100 million.
Yeah. But, like, in all honesty, the point he made actually makes sense, and that's probably the only thing that will sully 45's reputation amongst his faithful, right? Is going, well, look, this idiot.
They think there's money. They think the economy's doing well, and they think there's tons of money coming in. And
I mean, it'd be nice for his true colors to finally show again. Like, like most people remember him as a fucking failure, essentially.
Well, and when he fails the economy, he's going to have to pay the piper this time, because there's nobody he can escape on contracts this time.
Nope. Yeah. No, I mean, and again, like, I get what Mar was saying. Like, the wish of recession is kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
like, people fucking kill themselves over that kind of stuff.
They lose money. They lose their homes. Right? Yeah, it's awful.
So it is terrible. But at the same point in time, society will prevail through.
Yeah.
But, a dictator in America, I mean, that's something that we might not be able to fucking live through. Like,
exactly. You don't want to live under the boots of, somebody like Trump. So let's wrap it up. I just want to say quickly, women started to drive in Saudi Arabia on Saturday, and a lot of them were not even wearing the niqabs or the headscarves. Times are changing there.
And did you see there's a whole group of police officers, when they seen women driving, they would pull them over and give them a flower.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Another thing, too, that actually really made me happy, watching the World Cup, and I'm watching an Iran game, and the Iranian players are covered in tattoos. So, I mean, that even like as small of a thing that is, I'm actually really thrilled about that, because it shows that there's a lot of moderacy and growth coming into the region, which is great. That's great for the world. So
wonderful. Good. Yeah. So thanks for listening. We'll be back Thursday, not Wednesday, because I have to work Wednesday. Have a good few days, and we'll see you Thursday. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.